Andy's a pretty spirited character. He's always knowing Andy's in the room.
Andy just radiates love and care.
He was the man, downhill Jesus. I mean, can you have a cooler nickname than that?
The product of the Aspen Ski Club in the 1960s, Andy Mill worked his way onto the U.S. ski team, becoming one of the most decorated alpine ski racers to come out of Aspen. Born in Fort Collins, Colorado, Mill moved with his family to Laramie, Wyoming, before relocating to Aspen, Colorado in the early 1960s.
My early years as a ski racer here in Aspen were incredibly special. I remember every day after high school, we'd race over the slalom hill, we'd walk up until it was dark and race around these poles that were stuck in the snow. And I always remember my father was waiting at the bottom of the hill until dark, and then we'd go home and have dinner. But it was a very simple life. My earliest success kind of took off, pretty quickly. I remember going to the Junior Nationals in Alyeska. I got 9th up in Canada, and then I was named to the talent squad. I won the Roach Cup in '72. I won a downhill in Canada right after the Roach Cup. And then the ski team sent me to Europe in the spring of '72, right after the Olympics. And I did well over there in a big GS event. And the following year, in '73, I went to Europe right away. And I was skiing on the team. I got 9th in Garmisch at the World Cup there. I got 3rd in Kitzbühel in the combined. That's the only podium I had on the World Cup tour. And then the following year, I made the World Championship team.
Andy was part of this American ski team pack that had results really out of scale with what they should have been doing, and it was all because of their heart and hard work and overcoming kind of a lot of barriers, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Andy and his guys, they played music, they sang, we'd go out into the towns and walk around and meet friends. I mean, he just showed all of us kind of like how this can be done, how you can be a serious athlete, a world-class athlete, and also have a great experience.
As a young ski racer, you have that image that that's where you want to end up, but you don't really think of it at the time. So you think about putting one foot ahead of the other. And then eventually, you're there. All of a sudden you wake up one day and you're in the starting gate of the Olympics.
Mill's finest hour in skiing was at the 1976 Winter Olympics in Innsbruck, Austria, where he placed 6th in the downhill, a race that was dramatically won by Austria's Franz Klammer.
The real story there in '76 was I injured my leg the very first training run. I came into the first training run in a big off-camber left-hand turn, and I was one of like 6 guys that went into the trees. Back then, the fencing was just hay bales, and you just blow right through those at 60 miles an hour. I injured my leg to the point that I really could not walk without crutches. So I'm in the Olympic Village that night, and there was a box that all of our Olympic uniforms came in, and I cut 2 strips of cardboard off this box, taped them together, and stuck it in the back of my ski boots, so when I sat back, it would distribute the pressure. And then I thought, if we just freeze my leg tomorrow to the point that I can't feel it, shove that cardboard back there and take off, it might work. The next day I went to the starting gate, I sat down, buried my leg in snow. I froze my leg to the point for like an hour. I threw that cardboard strip in the back of my ski boot and took off.
Out of the gate is Andy Mill from Aspen, Colorado.
It's kind of a miracle that Andy's even in the race, Frank, because last summer he had 2 knee operations. On top of that, he was injured. He had a boot top bruise in training and had to miss one of the days earlier this week. But last year, in the pre-Olympic race on this very same trail, he was hurt, so he has a pretty good feel for it.
Now, Andy's doing the intermediate time against the fastest time posted by Bernard Rissy, and Andy Mill has a good time going, Bob.
Not too bad, Frank. He could have passed this one up, but he wanted to take a shot at it anyway. And look at him take some air off that bump, Frank. Okay, Andy Mill is looking like he's having a pretty smooth run. He certainly isn't all over the place like Palmer was in his run.
And we'll get a chance to check it again against the time posted by Bernard Rissy, who is now in second place behind Palmer, and is really good, Bob.
Well, he's about 7/10, almost 8 tenths behind, and Andy Mill has some trouble coming into the bad turn. But he's back on his skis, Frank.
Andy Mill is all out.
Andy Mill's having a little trouble in the lower part of the course.
It was a great recovery. That'll be his running time against that of Franz Klammer. And it's going to be good. It is really good. Andy Mill, 1:47.06.
Mill's finish was the best by an American in the men's downhill in 24 years. And as a result of his fortitude, he was honored with the Olympic Spirit Award. Mill continued his storied career, despite battling near constant injury. He competed in the 1978 World Championships and the 1980 Olympics. In 1981, Mill was having the best results of his career and had just finished 4th in Val Gardena, Italy. Coming into the famed Labrahorn downhill in Wengen, Switzerland, he was skiing among the best in the world.
At the time, I knew it was just a matter of what week I was going to win. And I had never felt that before. And I remember during the inspection, I looked at the last jump. It was awful big. I said, pay attention here. I came off that last jump way too late, caught 150 feet, landed on the flat. I broke my neck, my back, and my leg. At that time, it was over.
He was at the forefront of like what I see as the golden age of ski racing in Aspen. He was the first guy that really broke through on the World Cup and on that international scene. But you know, he paved the way for some of his contemporaries and many families and young athletes that came after him by showing, look, you know, you can come from Aspen and you can do it. You can mix it up with the best in the world.
He showed us what was possible, what the road was to that. 3 of us from Aspen made the team, Dave Stapleton, Mike Farney, and I. And it was the last year or two when Andy was still on the team. And it was magical. I mean, to have 4 Aspenites all on the same team, racing World Cups was really special. And I personally owe so much of that in my career to Andy.
He continues to be kind of the beacon of possibility for all of the kids, and as a result, the highest award that kids can earn coming through AVSC is the Andy Mill Award, and the Andy Mill Award signifies the complete athlete, not just the athlete that has done extraordinary things on snow, but the one that you know, has the balance between their sport and school and who they are in the community.
Well, for me, my advice is twofold. Be true to yourself. That's first and foremost. And as a skier, it's like, do you want to do well or do you want to win? And there's a big, big difference there. And that difference applies to life as well. And we all have to have fun. If you're not doing what you dig, move on. Find what you love and then be the best that you can at it.
Mill, who came from humble beginnings, has worked to raise funds for the Aspen Valley Ski Club Scholarship Fund and has been inducted into the Colorado Ski Hall of Fame, in addition to the Aspen Valley Ski Club Hall of Fame.
After my injury in Wengen, I got back to Aspen. I'm trying to think, okay, now what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm 28, I've got no education, I only know how to be a ski racer. And luckily, I got involved with broadcasting, and I ended up covering 2 Olympics, Albertville in '92 and Lillehammer, the Olympics in '94. And I stayed in the World Cup broadcasting for 20 years.
He also produced a how-to skiing series called Ski with Andy Mill. Andy Mill's natural charisma and love for Aspen carried over into wherever he went and whatever he did in his life.
This valley and the ski area and the company and the family of all the people that live in this valley, they're very dear to my heart. So I've always felt compelled to promote this great valley because it's the magic kingdom.
The thing about Andy is his joie de vivre, right? His just sort of passion for the sport. It's about skiing and loving life and living fully. And so the fact that he's represented that on the world stage and then continue to represent that everywhere he goes really embodies what this community is about.
As if becoming the best in skiing wasn't enough, Mill's passion turned to tarpon fishing after he retired from decades on the snow. He mastered catching this great fish on fly, winning more tournaments than anyone, including the Gold Cup, the biggest one of all, 5 times, the gold medal of tarpon fishing. And he also sits on the board of the International Game Fish Association and the American Museum of Fly Fishing.
After my competitive years as an angler, I got into sitting on boards of conservation. And that to me really, it gives me a chance to not be so selfish with winning stuff. Now I can give back.
Andy didn't have a college education. Andy only knew ski racing. And look what he's done since. He's had his own ski show. He has his own fishing show. He became a world champion fisherman. Now he does podcasts. He shows us that you can pivot, that you can take a skill set and pivot it to another world and be successful in it. And he always does it with a smile. He never looks like, he never looks like he's struggling. It's just like natural to him. I know that it's not. He works really, really hard.
As far as the skiing community of Aspen is concerned, even though Andy narrowly missed a medal in the downhill at the 1976 Olympic Games in Innsbruck, we think he has something far more valuable, a heart of gold.